Welcome to eCommerce Spotlight, a podcast where we discuss all things e-commerce related, from brand building to tips on how to deal with an angry Karen. My name is Diana, and today Josh Grant from Absolute Design has decided to join us to talk about the two biggest e-commerce platforms, Magento and Shopify. Which one is better for your online store? Which of these two platforms should you pick? Or perhaps your choice doesn't even matter at all. Well, let's find out. So, hi, Josh.
Hi, guys.
Hi, how are you today?
Yeah, really well. Yeah, thanks for inviting me to this podcast.
No, thank you so much for joining us. Maybe for the beginning, before we start, could you tell us a little bit about your role, how much you have worked in Absolute Design, and what Absolute Design is even about?
Of course, yeah. So I've worked in e-commerce for about 15 years now. Absolute Design are primarily a Magento agency, but we also cover Shopify as well. As an agency, we've been in business for about 27 years. And we've evolved from being a design agency, keeping up to date with trends, to obviously moving into e-commerce, which is where we are now. I've been with Absolute for a year and a half. I was actually a client of Absolute's for about 6 years prior. So I've known them for a long time. And yeah, it was a natural move for me to move over to agency side. I'm from an e-commerce manager background, so I've got a sort of an understanding of both sides of the fence.
And your position at Absolute is?
Yeah, so I initially came on as a senior project manager, but my title now is director of digital. Basically, that encompasses oversight over our projects team, who build obviously sites from start to finish, and then our support team, which maintain and update and obviously enhance existing client sites. And then I get involved in everything from operations to marketing and everything in between.
So a lot, a lot. We got the good guy here. All right. So have you ever been in a podcast before?
No, this is the new thing for me.
Okay. So I hope the first experience is going to be the best one.
Hopefully.
All right. So tell me this, Magento and Shopify. Can we even compare those two platforms? Are they completely different tools with a whole host of different features? Tell us a little bit about the two. You're the expert here.
Yeah, so they have probably become more comparable in the last few years than they ever have been. It's kind of been comparing sort of David to Goliath kind of thing. Magento is evolving all the time, and they're moving more and more to sort of the higher end enterprise side. So Adobe Commerce, is a licensed business model, whereas Adobe Open Source is free. Magento's been around a lot longer, so it's got a lot more out there. If you're doing heavy customization, there's a lot more modules and things that have already been built for it. Shopify is coming along really quickly. Like, it's more and more people are integrating with it, more and more people are building extensions for it, and Shopify Plus is getting closer and closer to a lot of the sort of more complex functionality that Adobe Commerce can offer. Shopify released a few weeks ago that they are bringing out new B2B functionality. So there has always been quite a big divide there with Shopify not really having B2B functionality and Magento being sort of the go-to. So the gap is narrowing all the time. So they're getting more comparable, but is very dependent on what a client is trying to achieve and sort of their back-end business logic and their operations side of it.
Yeah, it depends. The favorite answer to like every digital marketer, right? It depends. So tell me, maybe what are like the biggest pros and cons of each platform? Maybe we can start narrowing it down from here.
Yeah. So this is a really good starting point, and one that we kick off with a lot of our clients when they come through to us and they're like, look, where should we go? Not everyone has an idea of where they want to go when they come to us. Shopify is a much easier entry point. It's much easier to set up, much easier to turn around. So it's a quicker entry point. it can be done by a client themselves. They can get a Shopify site up and running themselves within reason. Magento is the perfect fit for companies that got complex integrations with ERP systems or CRMs or logistics-based things, warehousing operations, that side of it. It's been historically much easier to develop that level of complexity in Magento. A price point is also a big point with these two platforms. If you want to proof of concept for a new business, maybe, it's going to probably be the most sensible thing to do that on Shopify. It's going to be more cost effective than investing in Magento. Historically, you could, lower end of the market, you might be able to build a small Magento site for a reasonable amount of money. Whereas now it's kind of, it's not really worth looking at. You're better off going to one of these easier platforms.
So if I'm like a startup, let's say e-commerce that's just making it on the market, it's better to opt for Shopify.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And we're really honest as an agency. If we were being a bit naughty, we could maybe say, yeah, Magento is always the best platform, but we know that client retention is a key part, and we want people to stay with us for a long time. So putting them on the right platform and then allowing them to evolve as their business grows is the right thing.
All right, but how does it look like in the long run? Okay, let's say maybe, yes, I'm just starting out with my e-commerce, but I have a little bit of a bigger budget. What would you think, like in the long run, like what's easier later when it comes to features, to add on features, or does it have enough, which platform, or maybe it's just better to start with Magento instead of doing it after 2 years and then once again investing a budget in it?
Yeah, and it is a valid point, and it's something that we have to consider as well. Do you invest a lot up front, knowing that maybe you're going to outgrow a platform 2 years down the line? That might have been the discussion a few years ago, but now Shopify has evolved as a platform. I think even if you're a startup that grows rapidly, you could stay on Shopify for quite a long time. So when you're looking at sort of a business model or a business plan for that matter, you could justify staying with Shopify for probably 5 years or more, and you'd probably only be looking to go to a bigger platform such as Magento if you've seriously hit the big time. You're talking about stores realistically are going to be turning over, I would guess, 1, 2, 3 million plus before they're going to start looking to go to a Magento platform.
Okay. And when it comes to Magento, and the source code, whenever we want to adjust anything, is it simpler, or does this have to usually involve more actions and more work carried out?
Yeah, I mean that's a big part of this sort of cost sort of conversation as well. Magento isn't a SaaS-based system like Shopify. So Shopify is a software as a service. So included in that, you get the hosting. You also get all the security and patching, maintenance, etc. It's built into their platform. So when you compare that to Magento, especially in the last couple of years, has had a big upgrade cycle to evolve the platform. That's a significant cost to merchants. And then when you weigh those against each other, and then obviously you need to host Magento somewhere. So you might choose to host Magento with Adobe because you've got a commerce license and they offer cloud hosting, or you need to go to a specialist Magento hosting provider like Sonasi or Akuva. There is a cost associated with that. So when you factor that in with the maintenance side of it, you need much deeper pockets to maintain a Magento site than you do a Shopify site. So it builds part of that picture of, is it going to be cost effective for a small business to maintain that? It's not really going to be the right fit for them until they've got a decent turnover, they're making decent profits, and they can justify that spend really.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about how is it beginner friendly, let's say. So let's say I'm just opening up my e-commerce. I'm not a programmer. Which one would you say involves maybe like, do I need a internal team of programmers or someone for my company to be able to maintain Shopify, or how does it look with Magento? Can I do it by myself?
Yeah, I mean, this is a really good one. So Shopify, you absolutely don't need any in-house expertise or developers or anything like that. They've got a really great site that's really easy to use, walks you through the steps of getting set up on their platform, and they've got great tutorials and video tutorials, etc., of how it's all done. So you've got all the resources for you there. Magento, some people have learned to sort of do it themselves, but it is a big road. There's certification for front-end, back-end developers with Magento. It takes years of experience to be able to customize that platform in a large way, and is very tricky to sort of out of the box just plug it in, to put it on a server, let it run. It's not designed for that. It's designed for big merchants that have got massive catalogs. They've got really custom pricing. They've got a lot of these sort of more custom things that someone that's starting out in the world of e-commerce probably wouldn't have, they won't be considering that yet. So yeah, if you wanted to sort of be an owner operator and set it up, Shopify is the way forward.
Yeah. And I guess when it also, well, let's say with add-ons, sometimes you change, like when I usually see with some of the clients we have here that they come in and they know what they want, or hi, I want my website to look as X website. And I have a question. Do you guys at Absolute Design help also your clients? Which option is better for them? Give them a recommendation.
Yeah. So there's, Magento and Shopify are similar in this respect. You can buy templates for both of them that have got the functionality laid out from the outset. Both of the platforms also allow you to go fully bespoke. So if people are wanting to look different to everyone else and they want to make their store really stand out, they can go for a fully bespoke front end. And that's something we do for a lot of our clients. We also do a bit of a hybrid where clients that have got maybe a strict budget, they'll opt for a theme, and then we'll make a small amount of customizations to it just to make it fit maybe the sector they're in. Maybe they're a tile retailer and they need some custom tile calculations put in on the product page. We can make those edits to both Shopify and Magento templates, but we can also obviously just build them in a bespoke way. So we sort of go through that process with clients of like, look, what is your appetite? Do you want just a really clean, easy to use site that's going to be really cost effective? Let's look at, and Shopify's got a great library of amazing templates, and Magento has to a certain extent too. So that's the first thing we'll try and get them to consider this. Do you want to, is that going to fit your business? And if it's not, then we need to make sure they see the value in going for a custom design, really.
Okay, so in your opinion, which of these platforms has more functionalities, and which one offers more?
So Magento definitely offers more, just because it's been around longer. There's been more modules built for it. There's more vendors that support it. So it's just had more time to evolve. Whereas Shopify is coming, like I said, it's coming along quickly. But there are, you will get a client that will go, oh, I can't go on Shopify because my particular system hasn't yet been integrated with it, and they don't want to go through the route of building a custom integration. So they might go, actually, it's going to probably be more cost effective because there's already an extension for Magento. So we do have those conversations as well. And that's why it really is dependent on exactly what a merchant is looking for and their needs and integrations to help them choose the right platform.
Okay. So let's move a little bit into optimization and the SEO capabilities of each platform. So, in your opinion, are both platforms optimized to help store sites effectively raise their ranks on search engines and attract more organic traffic? Like, what's the range of built-in SEO features, if they are even any, like meta tags?
So they've both got SEO, obviously, at the heart of what they're trying to achieve. I think this is my view, and obviously you guys are the SEO experts, but this is my view. Shopify is very good. It's got a very good SEO offering. It's not overcomplicated, but it's got what it needs. It's also fast, which obviously Google likes. So that's brilliant. I mean, Magento's got a very similar kind of setup. But when you want to go to the next level with Magento and SEO, there are, it's quite common that we'll add some SEO extensions to just add that bit of functionality that's missing. And then the sort of the bigger one with Magento is it can be tricky sometimes to get it very quick. So we do spend time as part of our project process investing in optimizing performance. And that might be because some of the third-party modules are not great in the way they've been built, and there's a little bit too much of a burden on some of the queries they run, etc. And because it's like you have to consider every moving element of Magento. Is the stack set up perfectly for Magento? Are all the processes running properly for Magento? It takes a little bit longer and a little bit more expertise to fine-tune that to make sure you've got the performance to match all of the SEO content on there. So Google's like, these guys have got it covered. Whereas Shopify, it's a little bit, you can kind of just populate it really well and it's going to do a pretty good job.
Okay, that's good to hear. Makes our work a little bit easier here, yes. All right, so let's picture a scenario. Josh, okay, I'm a client. After research, I've chosen my platform. Say I chose Shopify, but it turns out that my business is growing. I have a good turnover. I'm looking like to be soon to be an enterprise. Let's say for some reason, or maybe I want to switch, or for some reason I'm not satisfied with the choice of my platform. Let's even go both ways, not even just Shopify, but even Magento. Like, how much does it cost to switch my platform to a different one? Which one is going to be more costly? Like, which one's even maybe going to be longer or more difficult to do?
Yeah, so this is a common one. We have clients that move from Shopify to Magento or Magento to Shopify. You're going to be, a Magento site, and it's going to cost you, I would say, 30 Rand plus as a minimum to get a Shopify site, and that's a basic site. More complex ones, you're going to be looking at 70, 100 Grand plus. Whereas Shopify, for a non-plus site, you're probably looking from between 5 and 15,000 for a slightly more complex one. Shopify Plus, you're probably going into the realms of maybe getting 20, 30, but then you've got the licensing fees that come on with Shopify Plus as well. And the same with Magento. Like, if you're probably going towards the 100K spend on a Magento site, you're probably going to be looking to also probably get an Adobe Commerce license, because Adobe Commerce has a lot of B2B functionality and a lot of optimization stuff built in, which those enterprise clients will be looking for. And that's probably one of the driving forces of why they want to go to that platform. I mean, Adobe, so Walmart in the US, their site is based on Adobe Commerce. That, it's kind of the next level, because it can deal with such big data that Shopify can deal with a lot, but it does have a ceiling at the moment.
Yeah, and Walmart, I know it's one of the biggest e-commerces, at least from what I remember from Canada. So they are quite huge. Yeah. All right. So I have maybe the biggest question. We heard a little bit about the pros and cons, the budget. We crunched the numbers. But let's get that, expert opinion. So in your personal opinion, if you would have to recommend, which one? Shopify or Magento?
It's a really tricky one. If I suppose the best way to sort of decide is if I was going to go and set up a business tomorrow, I would go and choose Shopify. If I was an existing business that maybe had an e-commerce site that was okay but not doing particularly well, but I wanted to take it to the next level, and I've already got budget and good turnover and profits, I'd probably be looking at Magento. So I think it's really tricky to just go this one, but I think that's where the divide is. I think, Shopify, new businesses, it's the perfect route. Legacy businesses that have been around a long time, I think Magento is going to be the one to go for.
Yeah, so if you're a startup, it's Shopify. You can change, especially at the beginning. We like to change our minds when how it goes, everything, and then adjust the website or e-commerce store ongoing. So I think, Shopify would be the best for the start. All right, so I guess that's it for today. Thank you so much, Josh. If you guys have any questions regarding today's topic, please let me know at spotlight@iceagroup.com, or you can reach out directly to Josh. Josh, could you let our audience know if they were more interested or wanted to contact you, where we can reach you or where they can reach you?
Yeah, so you can reach us on our site, which is absolute-design.co.uk, or you can find me on LinkedIn. So feel free to get in touch. We're always happy to help, offer free advice, etc., and just say thank you for the invite to this podcast.
Well, thank you for, taking that invitation and coming here. The pleasure was all mine. And, it's always, as interesting to find out all these e-commerce related things. So thank you so much, Josh. And thank you for our listeners for listening to our podcast. See you, or rather hear from you during our next episode.
Bye, guys.
Bye.